All right. So as I was creating this slides, the original class was evaluating and comparing software, and then I realized I had 10 steps. So everybody loves a 10-step program. So here's your 10-step program to evaluate and compare software. You know, we're all inundated with software solutions, and it's like, you know, pick your poison. Which one do I go with? I could go with that one. I could go with that one. Well, the idea here is to put some actual structure right behind that and let the data speak for itself. Who am I? I'm Director of Construction Technologies at TD Industries. Randy gave me this position, and I've been doing that for the past couple of years, mostly focused around VDC, shop, software, implementation, training, things like that. I'm on all the social medias, well, not all of them. I have a YouTube channel. I haven't posted any content in a while. LinkedIn and ExtraCAD. If you're not on ExtraCAD, it's a great platform to go and learn within the community. There's a lot of people there that'll answer your questions. TD by the numbers. Who is TD Industries? TD is mostly focused in Texas. You'll see all the locations here. We do have a few offices outside of Texas. About 650 million in 2021. Between engineers and BIM modelers, a little over 100. So you can imagine trying to implement and train that many partners is a little bit of a lift. So that's a quick snapshot. So here's a list of potential softwares that you might find yourself wanting to compare, right? Autodesk Cloud, Procore, FieldWire. You know, this is not an exhaustive list by any means, but just to give you an idea, Victaulic Tools, BIM Pro, Evolve, M Suite, Allied, Stratus. You know, I just sat in Evolve's shop and field modules. They're going to have some tools. So, you know, there's just becoming an extensive list of things for us to process and figure out which one's the right fit for your company. We went through this process, and you know, I broadcasted it online, and everybody instantly hit me with which one's better. Well, it's a little bit subjective to you and your company. I'm not going to tell you, you know, you need to go implement a particular software because I'm not the one who has to do it. You're the one who ends up having to be responsible and answer to people for success or failures, right? I'm not the one who has to do that. So I imagine it's a boxing ring. We're going to put a couple softwares in the boxing ring and, you know, see the data that rises to the top. Step one of our 10-step program, build a review team. So a review team is a group of key people, right, from your company. Which business units is this piece of software expected to affect? Is it going to affect VDC? Is it going to affect engineering? Is it going to affect the shop, right? Who is going to be using this software? What you want to do is work with those business solutions and pick a person from within that business unit that is most knowledgeable on the processes that unit performs. Maybe not the processes they currently perform, but what process do they want to perform, okay? Sometimes software is a great chance for you to overhaul how you do what you do. So you want to have someone in there who has legacy knowledge, but you also don't want them to be overly clouded, right, with how it's always been done, and they struggle to imagine a new way of doing things, okay? So when we went through this, we had a couple partners from the shop, we had a couple partners from VDC, we had a couple partners from IT, and we had an engineering partner, okay? So I think our review board, we ended up with probably 7 or 8 partners focused on reviewing the software. Step 2, set up a grading system, okay? This one it was a little interesting for me when I was asked to lead up this, was how do you set a grading system up and set it up in a way where you can just allow the data to tell you which software package is going to hit most of your company needs, okay? So first off, you start off by identifying key features to be reviewed and list in an Excel document. Pretty easy, right? What does the software need to do? It needs to make spools. It needs to run a bill of materials. It needs to, right, automate all my processes, and I can lay everybody off, okay? Whatever it is that that thing needs to do, create a list. From a VDC perspective, what are the things that VDC needs that thing to do? What does the shop need that thing to do? What does engineering need that thing to do? And itemize it out and group it based on the needs of that business unit. All right, and here's an example of the grading system that I set up. You don't have to do it my way. This is just, from my experience, what we did. As you can see on the far left, I just listed features, right? In the real one, there's actually a description of the feature, right? And then a priority, okay? How important is this feature to my company? This is a really nice to have, but it's probably not, mega uno number one, okay? And then product A, product B. When we did this, we were only comparing two, but you could absolutely do this with, right, more than one product at a time. So this is an evaluation, a grade, right? And then farther down, you'll see how this becomes useful. And then comments. Sometimes you just can't capture your perspective on a tool through numbers. You kind of need to remember. I remember when we sat in this review that it did this and it was really terrible, or it was amazing, and you just want to make notes on it, okay? Step 4, host review sessions, okay? Call said company and say, we want to interrogate your software. Can you send someone to my company, sit down with my review team, and we're going to go through all those features. Okay, all the features that we listed in that Excel document, that's our focus. They may have features that aren't on that document. You set those aside for then. You can always dig into those later, okay? So do not invite a salesman, all right? Because he don't know anything. He just knows commission, and he's gonna tell you, yeah, it does everything, and it's on the roadmap to be done tomorrow, okay? So you need to get a really real world perspective on what this does, how it performs, does it meet the needs that your company needs? Like I said here, focus on features predefined in your grading system. So you want to bring both of them in. So this requires meeting setups. All the people on your review board have to get together, right? You're going to have to host probably a technical expert from that company for a day, but you want to spend the whole day, right? The intention here is not to get a sales pitch. It's to get a deep understanding of the software. It's easy to get demos. You can get demos remote. This is going above and beyond a basic demonstration of software, okay? All right, step 5, ask for a list of companies potentially willing to host your review team, all right? This one's a little bit more complicated. Some companies may not have the resources for this, but what company is already using said software, okay? Get a list of them, find out which ones that software company might recommend, be willing to host you. Take your whole team out to those companies, ask them to spend the day with you, and dig deep into how they are using the software. Okay, what are they finding success in? What are they finding failure in? Right? Take notes, lots and lots of notes, because you'll forget everything if you don't take notes. And that's the point of that Excel document, right? Spend the whole day. Last note, do not invite the software company, right? The point is you need to get their perspective on the software. Software company is going to tell you it's amazing, and again, the feature that you really need is coming next month. They will always promise it's coming next month, and in my experience, it's always like a year, right? So Visit another company. See how they're using it. This one's difficult. Consider non-tangibles, okay? API. Do they have an API? Sometimes your review team may not really have a good idea of what is that, the implications of an API. That's when you need to bring in some kind of developer, somebody from IT who can say, yes, they have a successful API, I believe they have everything that we need. Sometimes this may require a whole separate review call with someone who has a little bit more knowledge from a technology standpoint to say, what data do we have access to from inside your product, okay? Do you need an API? Do you have any desire to take the data from said product and deliver it to another product, right? Do you want to need this, right? Maybe for right now, we'd be really happy if we could just use the out of the box. We might find ourselves in a couple of years wanting to do more. So think about that. Think about tech support. This is super, super important. You can build the most amazing software in the world, okay? But unless someone can teach you how to use it, it's just gonna sit on the shelf, okay? You need to be able to pick up the phone, send an email, and what's the return time on a question? What's the return time on a fix? How fast is that company able to receive a bug issue that I've sent them? How fast are they able to consume it and issue a patch, okay? Now, again, this is all, oh yeah, we fast. I mean, minutes will respond to you, right? So consider that you're probably getting sold a little bit when you ask these kind of questions because it's not quantifiable, but it's important that you at least talk about it, right? Let the software company know this is a priority. We're thinking farther than just using it. We're assuming there's going to be problems. How do you deal with that? Okay. Knowledge base, right? What if I want to self-learn? Okay. I don't want to pay for a trainer to come out and teach me. I want to be able to go to a knowledge base, type in how to spool, right? And I get some sort of documented list of how to go click this, spits out something, okay? Knowledge base is very important, and you'll use it. Make sure they have it. Let's see, cadence. How regularly do they issue bug patches, new features? Some software struggle to find that regular repetition. Consistently, every month we issue a patch. Every couple of weeks we issue a patch. Every 6 months we issue a new feature, right? What is that cadence? What are they targeting? You know, barring major issues, what's their target on their cadence? Do they have strategic partnerships? Investors, okay? Who are the people that are backing their software, right? A lot of us, I don't know the size of y'all's companies, but I'll tell you that, you know, we're not interested in building a multi-million-dollar company around fly-by-night software. It might be amazing, but it has to be sustainable. It has to be something that we can invest in, invest our time, and be confident, right, that we're not buying into a product that's going to fail in a couple of years, right? So this is important stuff for you to understand. All right, step 7. Take the Excel review document from each of your users, average them back into a master, right? So what did user A say the priority of this feature number 25 was? How did he grade it for this product? How did he grade it for this product? Bring them all back together and average them back in. The column for priority, this is going to be 100% grade. So if the average comes out to be 4.88 for that tool, it's going to hit what you need it to do. This is going to end up being 100%, okay? Averaging all these out, this product ended up with 72% grade. This product ended up with an 80% grade, okay? So based on the input that the people that I trust from inside my company said, this guy here, he said that this met you know, he might have given it a 4. This guy here might have given it a 3.5. This guy here might have given it like a 2, right? What I want to do is I want to take all their knowledge, all their comfort levels, and put it into a number, okay? And let those numbers, again, speak for themselves. And the idea here, right? Product grade is equal to the total sum of grades divided by sum priority. That's how you get to the percentage. That's how that product graded for your company. They will hit 80%, right? Little bit of a difficulty getting there, but there's a lot that goes into it, all right? Step 8, follow up with said software companies, all right? You just interrogated their software. You pulled back the curtains and did your best to find all the problems, all the good things about it, and you may have given them some bad grades. Well, you didn't hit, right, for us on said product or said tool. What's your response to that? Maybe we didn't understand how that tool worked, right? Give them a chance to say, well, I feel like you didn't understand. Let's go through it again, okay? That could likely be a remote call. Don't have to drag them back in for that. But just to clear the air, make sure that there's not something that you're missing, okay? Let's see. Step 9. Present your findings to your leadership. All right, so somebody's got to cut the check on this, right? It's easy for me to, you know, we need to spend $200,000 on something, right? But, you know, if that was actually my money, I want to know that you did your homework, okay? That this tool that you're coming to tell me that you need to spend this kind of money on, how confident are we that this thing is going to work for us, right? Are we going to make our money back? When I write this check, I want to know that it's working or it's going to work. How much homework did you do on this? Or did you just pick up some guy's comment from LinkedIn and, oh yeah, we need to go buy this, right? 'Cause that's where you end up with too many applications and you don't know which one to use. All right. Let's see. Explain the pros and cons of each one. There's going to be pros, there's going to be cons. You're not going to have you're not going to have a software that solves all your problems. Never will. You know, with fabrication, we've been using it for years, but you know, there's other modeling programs out there that do things actually do them better. You know, it doesn't do everything better, but you know, it'd be great if it did all these other things, just not going to do that. So be real about the cons. Have a strategy to deal with gaps. What gap is the software have? Let's say you've settled on, right, since we're at Evolve's conference, we'll say you settle on Evolve materials or something, right? What does it not do? What are you gonna do about it, right? How do you solve that gap? Have a plan to explain to your leadership how that gap exists and that you're gonna solve it through some strategy, okay? Estimate your cost breakdown. Multiple scenarios. If we buy this product, we couple it this product, we end up with, right, this is how much it's gonna cost. If we go with this product, we couple it with this product, this is how much it's gonna cost, okay? You gotta give them options. Again, letting your leadership know you've well thought through this decision. These are your options, and I'm gonna make a recommendation on the product combinations that I think are best fit, okay, for your company. And then finally, as a team, you recommend a product and a path forward, okay? Collectively, as a team, you end up having to vote. How's everyone, you know, I know we turned out for 80% for Evolve materials, but at raise of hands, everybody okay with going forward with Evolve materials? No one person should own that kind of decision, right? When you start to have problems with software down the road, you can look back at what happened and you say, you know what, we did our homework. We're confident that we still can go down this path. This wasn't some CEO who saw a product and he just bought it and threw it at you and you're stuck having to use it, okay? This is a collective effort. Everybody has buy-in, each business unit has buy-in, so everyone has an obligation to make it work, okay? Final and lastly is step 10, probably the most important one, is your implementation strategy. Do not buy software without a strategy to do something with it. It boggles my mind how many companies buy software and throw it at their partners and say, use it. Well, I got no idea what problem this thing is going to solve for me. It's just, I have access to it, but I don't know. I don't know what to do with it. Happens all the time. Okay, so think through your strategy. Who's going to be responsible for success? Okay, this is a somebody within that review team needs to be earmarked as product specialist for that thing. Okay, their job is to make sure to implement, train, communicate with the software company, be that person back and forth to make sure you're ensuring success. What are the markers for your successful implementation? That one's a little bit difficult. What does it mean when we're successful? Is that just because we're using it, or is there some kind of metric to say, not only did this thing work for us, but we're actually hitting some level of number, right, with this product? Does it require administrative setup, right? How much time do you need before you go live with that product? A lot of times there's some setup, fabrication, case in point. This massive database that we've all just been building on for years and years and years, that administrative setup has never gone away, right? That's overhead that, you know, go try telling your CEO that, you know, I'm spending $100,000 a year on some employee to maintain a database. You know, you would think that we've bought everything there is to buy from Ferguson at some point, right? Why? You would think there would be no more updating to do. How are you going to train your workforce? Are you going to bring the software company in and let them do the training, right? Or are you going to be the product specialist, right? And organize training events for the company. How will you keep your workforce up to date on new features? A lot of these softwares are changing constantly, right? What happens when they roll a new feature out that everybody just needs to know about because it's amazing? How do you communicate that to your workforce, okay? And I'd say, again, implementation is probably something you have to, that's a whole separate class, I think. And then that's it. That's the end of my 10-step program to reviewing software. I feel like I probably flew through that. But any questions? Yeah.
So I think one on your last slide, maybe a good thing is don't outpace your hardware with said software also.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Think through your hardware.
Yeah, because if you got 100 detailing engineers and you outpace their hardware with new software, now you're really
Yeah, now I need to go back and add that slide. No, it's step 11. We have an 11-step program now. Thank you. Okay, there you go. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
In your example, you're comparing two different softwares.
Yep.
Some of these solutions can have 6, 7, 8 different types of softwares out there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do initial funneling process, or have you found like if you have too many?
Well, some software will solve multiple, right, issues, and then you might be comparing it to a software that only solves one issue, right? So you would only be needing to review that area that other software can hit on, right? If you want to use the rest of it for something else, you might want to find something else to compare it to. I'm trying to think of something here. You've got Evolve Mechanical hits for VDC, right? It doesn't really hit much for the shop. Now, Allied BIM is a product out there that has a VDC add-in and has some shop modules. So I might want to bring in M Suite or Stratus into that conversation so I can evaluate the shop side of it, right? Because this becomes a combination of products that I might need to buy. Am I going to buy Evolve Mechanical and then go buy Stratus? Am I going to buy, right, Allied BIM and then go buy, I don't know, Victaulic Tools or something, right? Sometimes you got to add products together to come up with a full range of solutions. What else? Yes.
So I've been working with trying to get, talking with other clients or customers of software to find out from their experience. Haven't had any luck, I guess, doing an on-site meeting. So any tips or thoughts on
Do you have a
how to
peer group?
manage that?
Some
We're not part of a peer group.
You're not part of peer group. Okay. We reviewed within our peer group, so they were more open, right?
Sure.
I don't have an answer for that. I would lean on the company who's trying to sell you the software. They should have.
Yeah, they've been good about getting us into a virtual meeting and that kind of stuff, but never been a
On site.
meeting, so
Yeah. Okay. We'll take what you can get, right?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. Yep.
What kind of markers do you recommend, or what kind of markers have you used in the past that have worked well for tracking progress and things? Like ROI is always something that we're going to save 30 minutes a week for 200 people.
ROI on software, process time is probably your easiest thing. How long does it take to do a process, right? You can compare that. Open a production model, install the beta or whatever installer they give you, right? And try to run a process. Now, that one's difficult because betas usually just don't get used because you don't really have the time, the desire to install a product, start to click around, I don't know how to use it, right? I don't know what to do. I've not been trained on this, right? That's not the point of the review. But there are some products that run sequences and algorithms faster than other products. And that can be easily quantifiable in, it does this process in 3 minutes and this one does it in 30 seconds. Which one's better, right? And you do need to load it on a production model. Beta models are all super lightweight and there's not real information in them. So every software will run amazing in just a small sample model, but you do need to load it into something that's production. Maybe not production, but a copy of production. Let's put it that way. Sandbox sites, do they provide sandbox? How do I create data in the environment that they're trying to sell me without affecting production? How do I get access to test, so I can test what setting that I think I need to make? Use that for testing. Yeah, sorry, that one just came to mind, sandbox. All right. Any other questions? No more questions? All right. Thanks so much. You're dismissed. I am.